It's the most wonderful time of the year. The time to share my top 30 books of 2025. It's currently December 9th, so technically there is still time for me to have a book that joins the top 30 books of the year. I sort of doubt it. I am feeling like I'm in a reading slump right now. I just finished Billy Summers by Stephen King, and now I'm reading a whatever holiday romance, which is not even holiday romance. It takes place in the summer. It's just in Alaska, so it feels sort of wintry. And it was whatever was first available on Libby because I was needing something to chill out. And yeah, I just feel sort of slumped and I don't know if I'm gonna get anything else. And just with the holidays and traveling, life is gonna get crazy, so I wanted to film this now. Currently editing this on January 31st. I will say there was one book that would make it into this list. I have not put it in a certain place, but that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This book was great. It was about World War II and the end of the war in France, and a German soldier, yes, but working on radios, and then a blind girl who was living on the coast of France. I don't remember where it is anymore, but this was just a really good emotional story. And there's also a show that was really good, so I watched the show with my family when I was home. But I would recommend it. I haven't fit it into the ranking, but I'm adding it to the list. I don't buy books. When I read them from the library. However, I do have 4 books that I'm mentioning in this video. Other than that, I will put up pictures of books on the screen. So hopefully there's a good place for editing Carolina to do that. We're gonna start at the bottom, and then after I do the first 15 books, I'm gonna go into a nonfiction discussion because I have a few books that are nonfiction that I would recommend, but I don't include those in my top reads just because I don't rate nonfiction. Starting off, number 30, we have Beartown by Fredrik Backman. This was a very well-written book, but Fredrik Backman is not for me. I just don't like his writing. It's too depressing. It's too, I don't know, there's too many highlightable quotes, which I love a good highlightable quote, but I feel like there's so many that there's not even a plot. His books are very much character studies, and I don't always connect with that. Number 29, we have 28 Summers by Elin Hilderbrand. I enjoy Elin Hilderbrand's writing. It's not my favorite writing style, but I do have a good time reading it, and I had a good time reading this one. This book is about cheating, so that's why it's lower on the list, but Elin Hilderbrand is a good writer, and I enjoyed this. Next up at number 28, we have The Wedding People. This is another one that I think objectively, it's a good book, but I didn't love it. Sort of like Fredrik Backman's writing, where I don't love it, but it has a lot of highlightable quotes, a lot of insights about life, but I read this one and I just couldn't relate to the characters. I think if you were a little bit older than me, you would maybe relate a little bit more, but it was still a good book. I would recommend it. Next up, we have a series. For the most part, I will be doing series as taking up one slot, just because a lot of times I read series back to back and I group them in my head, and that is the Magnolia Park series. This was a book like a lot of these lower ranked ones. The fact that it's on my list means it's good, but the lower ranked ones are not as good. I still like them, but either they would be better for someone else than they were for me, or maybe I wouldn't recommend them for someone else and they're more of a guilty pleasure. That's what the case is with the Magnolia Park series. I probably wouldn't recommend this series to anyone because it's very toxic and deals with a lot of heavy themes. Jessa Hastings has such unique writing that I have a really good time reading it. I didn't like Time of Your Life as much as I liked Magnolia Parks and another book that I'll mention later, but I did enjoy reading the Magnolia Park series. It's funny because I read the series a couple years ago, or I read the first Magnolia Parks and the first Daisy Hates, and I didn't like it and I stopped reading the series, and then I picked it up again this year and enjoyed it. I had a good time. I do like the Daisy books better than the Magnolia books though, so I'm excited that we get another one of those. Coming in at number 26, we have Wild Dark Shore, and I read this so long ago, I have to pull up my Goodreads. It was a little bit depressing for me, so I think that's why I only gave it 4 stars. Yeah, okay, I remember it correctly. I didn't like the depressing prose. Next up is number 25, which is The Four Winds, another one that I think was good, but the prose was just too depressing for me. And I think that's the case with a lot of Kristin Hannah books. I enjoy Kristin Hannah. I like some of her books more than others, and I think this one just didn't feel as hopeful as some of her other books, and so I didn't like that. But again, it's ranked number 25. I feel like right now I'm like telling you what I didn't like about the books. By the end of this, I still did like it. Kristin Hannah is a wonderful writer. She can tell a story, she can create characters and development, and by all means, go pick this book up. Just know it's a bit depressing. Coming in at number 24, we have Ready or Not by Kara Bass Stone. The thing with romance books, if you watch my tier ranking for star reads, you would know how I feel this way. They just start to blend together for me, unless it's like an anticipated release from a new author. But I think there were just a lot of books this year that I read that were like New York setting romance books that had like, maybe have a depth aspect to them, but are mostly just romance books. I said I really liked Kara Bass Stone's writing. The inner dialogue is witty and fun. I really liked the female main character and the male love interest. The found family was cute. I liked, there was definitely an emphasis on friendship and women's fiction elements, which I always love a book that balances romance and women's fiction, because I don't like it when it's super spicy, but I do like the romance balanced by women's fiction. Number 23, we have The Blonde Identity by Ally Carter. I picked this book up because I listened to a podcast with Ally Carter, and it's just a fun, girly spy mystery, and got me into a little Ally Carter rabbit hole. There is a second book, and I don't even remember what it's called, and I did not like it. Coming in at 22, speaking of women's fiction and romance, we have Everyone is Beautiful by Catherine Zenner. I think Catherine Zenner is the master of women's fiction and romance. I had a ton of Catherine Zenner rereads this year. I think I literally reread 3 Catherine Zenner books. And I read her new release, and I read this one. This one is older from her backlist, and it was still like, I mean, you could tell that's a little bit older, but Catherine Zenner's writing was still peak back then. At 21, we have With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I love Riley Sager. Riley Sager is one of the authors that got me back into reading. Lock Every Door by him was one of the first books that I gave 5 stars to, and I'm kind of scared to reread it because I may not like it as much as I did back then, but I devoured his backlist back in, what was that, 2023? He had a few books that were not as good. What was it, Middle of the Night, that he was last summer's release? It was just, I did not enjoy that one as much, but With a Vengeance, he's back and he still has it in him. It's the story of a bunch of people on a train, and it's sort of like murder train vibes. What was the premise? When you go into a Riley Sager book, you know certain aspects of the premise, but not others, and I don't remember if this, like, I don't want to give you a synopsis that has spoilers. Just think Murder on the Orient Express vibes. People are on a train going across the country, and you don't know who's gonna make it out alive. Number 20 is another series, and that is this Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas. I was really intimidated by this series, but I knew it was one of the books that I wanted to pick up this year, and I ended up really enjoying it. I love how when you get into Sarah J Maas series, it's like all you do for while you're reading it is eat, sleep, breathe Sarah J Maas. I'm always watching plot explainer videos, so thank you, Carrie Can Read. Another Sarah J Maas thing is the first book is never what you're gonna get for the rest of the series, so that was interesting, and I enjoyed both the plot of the first book and the rest of the series. It kept me guessing, I was on the edge of my seat, and had a good time reading it. Is Sarah J Maas my favorite author? No. Will I read whatever she puts out? Yes. Is part of that FOMO reading? Maybe. Number 19 is another series from an author that we've already heard about in this video, and that is Ally Carter. I've reread, I think I read all these when I was younger, the Gallagher Girls series. Spy school, high schoolers, YA. It's just iconic, it's so fun. I flew through them. August was one of my highest reading months because I just read all of those books. It's like 6 books in the series, and they're all just a fun time. It's sort of like American Royals, but make it spies. into school, so not American Royals. Number 18 is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I had a good time reading this book. I think other people didn't enjoy it as much. I did not like the male main character in this one, but I loved the North Carolina beach town setting. Maybe I am biased because I just moved to North Carolina this year, but I did enjoy that, and I always love magical realism. Coming in at number 17, another repeat author, and that is Jessa Hastings, The Conditions of Will. I was very hesitant to read this book. First off, I had read Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates before and did not like them. Second off, it deals with religious trauma, and that was something that I wasn't super gung-ho excited to read about. As a Christian, I think it's important that we understand religious trauma, but reading it in a fictional book, I was a lot more hesitant to pick that up. And it was getting such high reviews, and so I decided I was gonna pick it up. Some context for you, I read about 150 books a year, and so I like to read what everyone else is reading because I'm just reading so much, and I don't know why that is why I like to read what other people are reading. I guess I get FOMO with popular books, and I can justify it because I know I read enough books to cancel it out, sort of. I don't know. I ended up really enjoying The Conditions of Will. Number 16 is The Love Haters by Katherine Center. This was not one of my favorite Katherine Center books. I think my favorite is The Rom-Commers and then Hello Stranger, but I did still enjoy it. Katherine Center, like I said earlier, always has a good balance between romance and women's fiction. There also was good dialogue, an interesting plot, a good setting. Overall, it's a good time. I don't know if the couple the romance is about would actually stay together, but that's besides the point. Okay, it's time for our nonfiction break, and we're gonna start off with, I have two of them here. So let's start off with one that I'm gonna have in person, and that is Stay Salt by Rebecca Manley Pippert. This book was so good. It's about the importance of evangelism, and I did buy it because I was reading it for Family Book Club and I couldn't get it at the library, and so I thought, what the heck, I'm just gonna order a used version on Amazon, and I'm so glad I did because it was incredible. I thought this was interesting. It said, one way to describe sin is to explain that we have a God complex. We keep getting ourselves and God mixed up. Instead of having faith in God, we have faith in ourselves, and we live as if we are in charge. Sin is the deliberate refusal to believe in and worship God as God, and it is the prideful claim of the right to ruin our lives. Book number 2 that I have in person is A Generosity of Spirit, the early history of the Research Triangle Park. Okay, yes, I work for the Research Triangle Park, and I got this book on my first day of work to read, but they're not paying me to say this, and honestly, I don't know if you can get this book anywhere. Like if you could go to the library and I don't think it's out there like that, or even to order it online, but I really enjoyed reading this. My camera cut me off, so I hope it didn't cut off any of me talking about this book, because this book is great and you should read it, except I don't know if you can find it anywhere. The next book was The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. I did not know anything about the Ruby Frankie 8 Passengers drama, but this book was immediately available on Libby as an audiobook, so I did listen to it and had, I don't want to say a great time because it's not a great story, but it was a very interesting story, and Sherry Frankie did a great job at telling it. Next up is Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer, another Christian fiction book. Absolutely loved this. Very provocative, inspiring you to live like Jesus. I think in terms of Christian fiction, I'm definitely more of a John Mark Comer girl than a Timothy Keller or a Dane Ortland one. I like how his books, same with Rebecca Manley Pippert, Stay Salt, they are much easier to understand. Okay, 2 more nonfiction recs. 1, Good for a Girl by Lauren Fleshman. It's a running book. Love running books. And in my Goodreads review, I said if I gave nonfiction books stars, this one would have been a 5-star. If that doesn't tell me what you need to know. And then another book that if I rated nonfiction books would totally be 5 stars, well the heck, all the ones I mentioned would be 5 stars. The Defining Decade. If you are in your 20s, if you are a college student, if you are entering the workplace, go read this book. It is so good. It is so, I don't want to say necessary, because obviously it's not necessary, but it will change how you see your 20s. Okay, back to the fiction books. We have our top 15 books of 2025. Number 15. I forgot I have this one too. It's Anne of Green Gables. I got this special edition on Amazon because I was going to Prince Edward Island and going to Green Gables this summer, and it has the Lucy Montgomery stamp from one of the visitor centers that was in PEI. And I read it when I was there, which was super fun. I think my plan was to annotate and highlight and stuff, but I didn't. Oh, it's my plane tickets. Okay, well I have some stuff in here. But this is just a sweet, wholesome book. And it was really fun to read while I was in PEI. Next up is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I know some people didn't like this one as much, but I really I really thought the Alzheimer's plotline was interesting. I thought the long distance was a good tension creator. The one thing I didn't like is I think the ending wrapped up too quickly. But other than that, it was a really good book. Abby Jimenez is a great author, and I will continue to read everything she puts out. I also really enjoyed Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life. That is my number 13 book. I know other people didn't like that one, but we all like different Emily Henry books, and this is my favorite Emily Henry book. I didn't enjoy her other ones as much. Funny Story, no, because Miles gives me the ick. Happy Place, no, they do too many drugs and drinking in that book. But this book, I really enjoyed the two plots and the mystery aspects to it and not knowing what was going on. I thought that was so fun. So I did enjoy that one. And I was looking up what Emily Henry's 2026 release is gonna be, and it hasn't been announced. So is she coming out with anything in 2026? I will always read her books. I do feel like some of her books I was reading as a FOMO read because I knew I didn't love her writing. Or not that I don't love her writing, I don't love her plots. I don't know, just something about it that it's not as good to me as it is to other people. Number 12 is The Rose Bargain by Sacha Baron Smith. I don't remember her name. This is a YA fantasy book, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time reading it. I honestly don't remember as much about the plot. I know it's a love triangle, and I had a lot of fun reading it, but I probably should reread it before the next book comes out, which I don't know when the next book is coming out. The Thorn Queen, coming April 14th, 2026. I will definitely be reading that. It's a youthful and wholesome, good love triangle twist that I didn't see coming. Next up is The Unmaking of June Farrow. I love, my favorite genre is a blend of all of the genres. So historical, this one checks the box. Magical realism, this one checks the box. Romance, this one checks the box. It was a great book. Coming in at number 10, we have Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. I think about this book not all the time, but I do remember it. So that's why I moved it up above The Unmaking of June Farrow. I don't think about The Unmaking of June Farrow as much, but Deep Cuts really sucked me in. I was very interested. I loved how educated the author was about all of the different music things, and I did enjoy it. I couldn't totally relate to the characters, and that's why I didn't get a 5-star, but I was engrossed, enraptured, entranced. I was fully in the zone when reading this book. The last 4-star read that we have is How to Read a Book by Monica Wood. This was very much a character study about life, returning to life after prison, relationships, friendships, all of these things, and I had a great time reading it. The writing was really lyrical, there were a lot of sweet messages. There was something I don't like, but I'm not gonna say it because it's a mild spoiler alert, and I will save you from that. Number 8, the first 5-star book, and it's hard because the first book is a 5-star, the series is probably more of a 4-star, and that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I thought this was a very interesting concept. I loved the magic being more, not rooted in reality, it just felt a little bit easier to understand. It's an elemental magic system, and it was very interesting. A lot of my friends have read it. The thing I don't like about the Brandon Sanderson Mistborn saga is the books are so dense. It takes over a week to get through it. And I read all 3 of them separately, months apart. So it was harder to get into the 2nd and 3rd books. But I think Brandon Sanderson did a good job with twists and with keeping me hooked. I would recommend it, but just know what you're getting into, and it is a lot. Also, don't get me started on the whole Cosmere. I don't know when I'm gonna pick up another Brandon Sanderson book, because there's just so much to his world, and I don't know if I have the commitment in me right now. Number 7, this was initially ranked 4 stars and got upgraded to 5 stars in my tier ranking 5-star reads, and that is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I was screaming, gasping, kicking my feet on the edge of my seat through this whole book. It's about 2 ice skaters, and it's drama filled. Carrie Soto is back vibes / Daisy Jones and the Six. It feels like you're reading Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I ate it up. The next one that I have is definitely not conventional. It is the script of my favorite movie, Dan in Real Life. I got this last year. I literally bought it on Christmas because I was joking with my family, like, I would love to own that script. And then it was on Amazon. So I did buy it, I did read it, and I did love it in addition to the movie. Like, the movie's incredible, the script is also incredible. There are parts in the script that aren't in the movie, there are parts in the movie that aren't in the script. I did tab, highlight, annotate everything. I'm not gonna recommend you the script, but I will recommend you the movie. And if you love the movie as much as I do, buy the script, because it's just so fun to have this, that whenever I watch the movie, I can pull out the script and get all the Easter eggs that you miss from just watching the movie and not having the script in front of you. Number 5 is The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand, another drama-filled book that I ate up with a spoon. And I know I said earlier in this video that I don't always love Ellen Hildebrand writing, but she did it with this one. Like, this one was so good. I had so much fun reading it. I can't wait to read the next one. I know it comes out in 2026, so I'm very excited for that. I know some people didn't like this book because of the Gen Z slang, but honestly, I felt like she was committing to it and she pulled it off. I love the boarding school setting. I think that's such a fun setting. I love Gallagher Girls, I love The Academy. And I said it's a 5-star, but it's not on the same level as some of my other favorite 5-star reads. This year, I was super picky with 5 stars. Clearly, I gave out 6, and one of them was to a script. And then The Favorites and Mistborn both got upgraded to 5 stars after I'd initially given them 4-star reads. And when I was reading The Academy, I had not read many 5-star reads. I think I'd read 2 others. I was like, you know what? I have to stop comparing every book I read to The Book of Doors, Divine Rivals, Lovely War. Those are like my 6-star favorite books of all time. So I gave The Academy 5 stars, even if it's a little bit on the lower end of 5 stars. Sort of on that same ranking, I feel like, okay, my top 2 books are like on that level of books that I would want to own. These books are 5 stars that I don't really care if I own them. And the next one is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I really enjoyed this book. The twists, my jaw was on the floor. And Kristen Hanna's writing is good, as always. There was a little bit more hope in this one, I think because of the relationship between the girl and her friend at school. I say the girl, pretty sure she grows up in this book. It's hard to, just because Kristen Hanna books always span generations, but it was a really sweet, heartfelt book, and I would definitely recommend it. I think it's my favorite Kristen Hanna book. Coming in at number 3, I just finished this book literally last week, a week ago. That is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I would own this book, yeah, because I want to reread it. I want to reread this book before the second book comes out because I had such a good time reading it. I love how Stephanie Garber, and it really did read like YA. I think it had some language and stuff that it made it more adult classification, though I think the technical like YA adult divide is the character a young adult or an adult, and she was an adult, but that's besides the point. It read a little bit like her other books, but I love her other books, so I loved this one too. It's about a girl who is in grad school. She's studying like different magical elements, and it's old Hollywood, LA setting, super duper fun setting, super duper good magic. It takes place in a really short period of time, so many people that you don't know if you can trust them, and you're figuring it out with her. It was just a lot of fun. The twist at the end, you're telling me that it was just so cool. Like, okay, this isn't a spoiler. That's why she was getting nosebleeds? Okay then. Anyway, number 2 is the last book that I have actually here, and that is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I said earlier, Divine Rivals, one of my favorite books of all time. And so I did buy this book. My library is having supplier issues. So I had this book on hold. It was not moving up the line because they were not getting it. And then I went to Chicago and visited my parents. And I saw this in a bookstore, literally signed by Miss Rebecca herself. I hadn't read the book, but I had faith that Rebecca would pull out a 5-star, and that she did. It's so funny, in Divine Rivals, I want to marry Roman Carver Kit. Please, like, God, send me a man that is like Roman Carver Kit. I need to reread those books. Like, I reread them a year ago this time. I want to reread them again because they are so good. But I want to be Matilda, okay? I don't want Vincent, because Vincent and Matilda are in game, like they are the only one for each other, okay? I don't want your boo. I want Roman, but I just want to be Matilda because she's a boss. Like, she's so cool. And yes, the beginning I remember was a little bit slow. I still had a great time reading this book. My number one book, drum roll please. The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoff. I know, it's crazy that my number one book of the year is literary fiction. What happened to the genre combos that always dominate my yearly wrap-ups? Book of Doors, Divine Rivals. This book was so heartbreaking. It was so emotional. The lyrical writing, the trauma, it covered every topic under the sun. Yes, it is heavy, but it is also hopeful. It spans generations, which I love. The love confession at the end had my jaw on the floor. I was cracking up at that. I wanted to throw my book against the wall. Like, it was just funny. I cannot wait to read Sarah DeMoff's next book because her writing, I said, this is the sort of book that you finish and then go right back to the beginning. I did that with both Book of Doors and Lovely War last year, where I finished them and then was like, I have to start right over again. That was me with this book. I did the same thing. I finished it and I went right back to the beginning. If you are easily triggered, do not read this book, okay? But if you can handle it, read this book. Oh my goodness, you know what else I should have mentioned? I didn't even talk about Maya and Natasha. I forgot about that one. Maya and Natasha should be in here somewhere. Darn, I don't know where that would go. Maya and Natasha's an honorable mention. I really hope there weren't other neat books that I missed. I realized that my 4-star reads, I looked at my tier ranking 4-star reads video to to remember them, and that didn't include the 4-star reads from between then and now. Maya and Natasha would make the top 30. I gave Fake Skating by Lynn Painter 4 stars. That was good. I don't know if I would say it. I mean, it wasn't deep enough that I probably wouldn't put it further. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Yeah, those don't need to make top 30. Maya and Natasha should be in the top 30. That's a book about ballet dancers. I'm gonna shut up now because I've been talking for way too long. If you enjoyed this video, I'm super excited to share my 2026 TBR. I think I'll do a video about that. I don't know, it's weird because I'm not really posting very much on YouTube anymore. And I don't know. I like making videos, but at the same time, I don't care about growing a business using my YouTube anymore. So I don't have so much urgency to post videos. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you whenever I decide that I want to post another video. Happy holidays and happy 2026 reading.